I was 19 when my health suddenly started getting worse. I kept getting panic attacks, and almost every night I would wake up struggling to breathe, with a sharp pain in my chest that made it impossible to sleep properly. At first, I thought it was just stress. I spent most of my time trying to grow my Twitch channel, barely sleeping for days sometimes, so I ignored it for as long as I could. This was supposed to be just another appointment with my doctor, a close friend of mine who usually handled my checkups. But this time, after listening to everything, he recommended a different hospital located on the lower side of the city. The place felt strange the moment I arrived there. After a few examinations, the doctors spoke privately with my parents before telling me that my condition was more serious than they expected and that I might need to stay there for several weeks under observation. Hearing that honestly terrified me. The only thing running through my mind was everything I had worked for, all the time and effort I had put into building my Twitch channel, wondering how long I'd be trapped in that hospital. But I agreed to stay. By the third day, most of my checkups were complete, and strangely enough, the reports weren't bad at all. According to the doctors, my condition should have slowly improved with time, not gotten worse. That same day, another patient was brought into a room near my ward. He was an old man with a fresh injury above his eyebrow, like he had recently fallen or hit his head against something hard. The nurses mentioned that he had serious blood sugar problems and needed constant insulin injections, which was why he had been placed in the same monitored section as me. From the very first night, I noticed him staring at me. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see him quietly looking toward my bed without saying a single word. The strangest part was that, for some reason, the doctors allowed him to inject himself with a large insulin syringe several times a day. I didn't really question it at first since people with serious blood sugar conditions usually need insulin injections, but something about the way he used them felt unsettling. Like, I don't think any normal person could inject themselves that aggressively without reacting at all. Even whenever I accidentally looked toward him, he would already be staring directly at me. By that point, I was already completely uncomfortable around him, but somehow I managed to tolerate his presence for almost an entire week. Now the only thing left were my final blood tests, which were supposed to arrive the next morning. After that, the doctor said I'd most likely be discharged and allowed to finally go home. But honestly, if I hadn't survived that night, I don't think that old man would have ever let me leave that hospital alive. That night, he was sitting upright on his bed again, silently staring at me like always. At some point, I must have fallen asleep without realizing it. It was around 4 a.m. when I suddenly woke up again. The first thing I did was look toward his bed, but he wasn't there. Instead, I saw him standing beside the doctor's supply table at the corner of the ward. Just imagine that for a second. At 4 in the morning, the entire hospital floor was silent, and that old man was standing completely still beside that table with his back facing me, not moving at all. I had never even spoken to him before, but trying to stay calm, I quietly asked, "Sir, what are you doing over there?" The moment he turned around, I felt my stomach drop. There was this strange smile on his face that genuinely terrified me. Then slowly, he brought one of his hands forward from behind his back. And that's when I saw the syringe. A massive insulin syringe. He looked directly at me and quietly said, "I heard you're getting discharged tomorrow." The second I saw that syringe in his hand, I completely panicked and started shouting for help. And almost immediately, he rushed toward me. He tried stabbing me with the syringe while I fought him off near my bed. We both crashed into the floor during the struggle, but luckily for me, the man was nearly 70 years old. That night, somehow, I managed to survive. The doctors and nurses rushed into the ward after hearing my screams and pulled him away from me. Not long after that, my parents arrived and immediately took me out of that hospital. Later, after the investigation, we found out that the old man had completely lost his sanity years earlier after his entire family had been murdered during a violent robbery. He was the only one who survived. Apparently, he had shown disturbing behavior before, but never anything as violent as what happened that night with me. To this day, I still don't know why he targeted me specifically. Maybe he imagined I was someone else. Maybe he saw the people who killed his family when he looked at me. Or maybe there was something seriously wrong with that hospital from the very beginning. But one thing I do know is this: I'm incredibly lucky I made it out of that place alive.